Welcome back, pod people. Today, my guest is Matt Gordon, and we're going to be talking about special effects and special effects makeup and practical effects in general. Matt attended the Tom Savini School for Special Makeup Effects and now lives here in Pueblo, Colorado, and recently taught a zombie head sculpting class that I attended and resulted in a pretty sweet prop that I have at home now. Thanks for coming on the show, Matt.
Thank you. I just want to add a little correction there. I went to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh. It is for the it was called Industrial Design Technology (IDT) program that they had there. I don't know how long that's. I think it's disbanded now. But at the time, they had been talking about the Tom Savini School for Special Effects in Menneson, PA, and so a lot of the teachers that I learned under went on to teach over there at that school. So just to clarify that.
Yeah. Don't want to accidentally say false things here on this podcast.
Understandable.
So,
go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I'm a huge fan of practical effects and the use of makeup in filmmaking and especially in horror films. I think it really adds a degree of both believability and artistry to the medium. And so the class that you taught that I attended was sculpting zombie heads out of the base was the styrofoam wig mannequin head thing, and then cut it up to make it look more like a decaying corpse skull shape, adding gumballs for the eyes, peanuts for the teeth, painting it, doing an interesting sort of layered flesh effect with dipping paper in Mod Podge and attaching that, and then attaching I think it was doll hair to make the hair. Was that what it was? Or
no, it was it was crepe hair wool. It comes in braids, and you basically you wet it and iron it out straight. I tend to use it for purposes of modifying action figures, actually, like taking like a plastic Hasbro Chewbacca and actually giving it fur to look like Chewbacca from Star Wars. So on a miniature scale. So but it does work very well for making like false beards, mustaches, and whatnot. Werewolves and that sort of. So
I think the main thing that surprised me about I guess there were two things really that surprised me about making these zombie heads was one, just how easy and approachable it was. And the other is that it didn't require any like really specialized material. Like I'd never heard of this hair before, but it's not like we had to make the hair out of some sort of by like combining different chemicals or something like that, the way you have to do with like a 2-part latex. And so the whole thing was much more beginner friendly than I expected it to be. And so I was wondering, is that like the main reason you chose that particular technique to teach a class about? Or
I learned this from I learned this from his name was Jerry Gergley. He does teach over there at the that Menneson school I was talking about, Tom Savini School, and it's basically a non-toxic, a pretty well non-toxic way of making a pretty realistic corpse, and I thought it was I learned that. Thought it was a really neat thing and easy for beginner to just mess around with, because the special effects industry is just it's a lot of toxic chemicals, latexes, and all that. So
darn, I was hoping you were I was hoping you
Go
were going to
ahead.
say, "Oh, it turns out that that all of it is non-toxic and easy like that." But you're
Oh,
saying,
I wish. In fact, the famous makeup artist Dick Smith, who did like The Exorcist and a lot of those older films. His son was going to follow in his father's footsteps, and he had to kind of get out of it because he had some bad reactions to the chemicals. So
hmm,
so I do exercise caution when in reading the warning labels on everything. So um,
yeah,
when
that's
you're
a good thing to keep in mind.
yeah, the chemicals have changed over the years. So like when you're messing around with stuff from Berman Industries, it's just good to just make sure what you're messing around with. Um, because there is a lot of warnings on that. I think I got a little something on one of my on my skin at one time for casting uh, casting something out of like a type of plastic, and
Hmm.
didn't do me much good. So uh,
Yeah, that is important to keep in mind. Um,
mhm,
so out of all the techniques that you learned uh, at the school, I'm really curious, what was the most like fun one for you to make?
mm. Probably the making creatures out of cable control puppet creatures.
Oh.
That was definitely a lot of fun because it always intrigued me, like when I'd see like movies like Critters or just all the little even the Dark Crystal, all the different Jim Henson type puppets, uh, those type of creatures fascinated me, and I wanted to know how to make the skins and know how it made the facial movements and everything. So a lot of these teachers showed us how to kind of do it on a low budget. I mean, you could take something like a lady's roll-on deodorant, okay, like the ball on a
Mhm.
roll deodorant, and you can turn that into an eyeball for a chemical.
Oh.
So I like the practical effects with on a low budget end. Um,
Yeah, that's really cool. I'd never even thought about that. Maybe part up like an old bicycle brake system to get the cable
exactly.
mechanisms.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm. Oh, we had a haunted house in Pittsburgh called the USS Nightmare. It was done on an old barge, and
Ooh.
they allowed me back in 2000 to have my own little corner in the USS Nightmare, and I made a low budget version of the John Carpenter's The Thing. Um, more specifically, the dog scene, where it was just a big glop of dog parts.
Where it, like, splits
And
apart like that?
yeah, yeah, and so my friend and I were behind this thing and operating it like you were just saying, like bike brake cables, and operating the heads, and it really got a good uh, effect from and reaction from the public. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Uh, some of these things could get really complex. Like, I know there are a lot of, puppets that require more than one person to operate them, and
Hmm.
things like that. So I'm curious, what was the most difficult build that you did?
Oh, that's difficult. It really is doing an actual cable control creature, because what you're doing is you're sculpting it, you're making kind of a core, so you're just making the skin, and you're not just getting one big solid piece of foam. When
Yeah.
you're making it, you have to have it so it fits your understructure that you're putting all the mechanics in. So that I have to say is the most involved, complicated uh, thing to do, but it's still the end result is fun. You basically make it a big toy, you know.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's encouraging to hear that both the most enjoyable and the most difficult are the same one, and not just that the most difficult one is a terrible slog.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's gotten so advanced over the years. I've kind of lost. Just like the character Grogu on The Mandalorian. I mean, that is super
Yeah.
advanced, and like the skins have gotten so much better than just those foam latex ones. I think they're using like silicone now, and it feels real too. You know, so um,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious, I don't expect you to know, but I'm curious, like, on things like Grogu on The Mandalorian, I wonder how many different, like, special purpose puppets they've made. Because I know building one puppet that can do everything is, unless everything is really a small list of things that it needs to do, you can't build one puppet that can do everything. You build different ones for different
right,
scenes.
right, yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, you know, like even like going way back to like the old HBO show Tales from the Crypt, the Crypt Keeper. I mean, they spent millions of dollars or thousands of dollars on that particular puppet. But I'm sure they had several in case one breaks down or you gotta you gotta run it through its drills basically because there is you have to leave room for failure. You know.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, and then if it breaks during filming or something, it would probably be nice to have a backup. Uh,
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I do remember them telling us that you got to kind of run it through a stress test. So you
yeah,
know,
that's a good idea. Get it, make sure that it's sturdy before you're depending on it.
yes, yeah,
Yeah, like taking a car for a test drive.
yeah,
Um, so these classes that you taught about making the zombie heads were at the Nerd Emporium here in Pueblo, and at the one that I attended, you mentioned wanting to teach more classes there in the future potentially. I'm curious
yes.
what other techniques you had in mind.
Well, it doesn't have to just be a gory, bloody head or just like zombie. Yeah, it can be more than you can make aliens or you really just anything under the sun of uh, subject matter. So I'm kind of proposing to the owner Mitch Ryan over there at Nerd Emporium that maybe we should offer other options besides just the zombie head. But I was kind of just in the for time um, for the time we have to work on stuff and let stuff dry. Uh, I was kind of pre-carving the heads, kind of like I said, in the interest of time um,
Yeah.
that we had just like a few hours. But you know, we could do more. So uh,
Yeah. Um, and I guess my last question that I'm really curious about, just for my own sake, I'm currently in the early stages of planning a short horror film, and I want to have a spurting blood effect. And of course, the way I'm imagining doing this, I've made fake blood before. It's really making a simple, moderately convincing fake blood is pretty easy. It's just red food dye in corn syrup.
hmm,
But how would you do a spurting like neck wound effect?
well, there's a lot of different ways to do it. Let's say the way Savini would do it would be like, well, he would use the I guess they call those bladder effects, and you're using like you're using like a latex condom full of the blood, and kind of tying it off and putting it under the wound. And I mean, I guess it just depends on the effects that the effect that you're going for. So if you're, I guess
Okay.
you're having it like spurt out, and say, you remember those hopping, those little hopping toads that you can get. It has like a little plunger thing that you could like squeeze.
No, I'm not familiar with those.
Okay, let's see. Kind of like a turkey. Okay, how about like a turkey baster?
Okay,
But
I know what a turkey baster is.
right, that squeezy thing on the end of the
Yeah.
turkey baster. You have that full of stage blood, and you run a tube up from something like that into whatever your wound is that you're going to have spurt out. I did like a scene. I had a for one of my makeup effects that I had to do for a grade in school. I did kind of an Evil Dead, like when Ash from Evil Dead got all demonized, and I, I
Yeah.
I got some like some turkey gravy, and I wanted to have a wound like kind of kind of fill up and then pop and
Oh,
have like the plastic. Kind of, even more. Another example would be like from the movie Dead Alive, the Peter Jackson film. Uh,
yeah.
when the mother is having a bad wound on her arm. Uh, um, so I guess that's one way. If you're doing like a gunshot type thing, uh, one cheap, easy way effect, instead of having to have it like an explosive charge to where you're blasting out, you can, and it's like a real quick camera shot. You take a button from a coat or a
Mm-hmm.
shirt, and you work that. You work like mm, you you tie like a piece of fishing line on that, and then when you're doing the makeup, um, of where you're wanting the blast hit to hit, you like paint red in the spot. You put the button there, and then you kind of build up a little bit of your well, I would say like mortician's wax, or like
Mm.
nose putty, and you build that around the button, and kind of put that under where I guess where you're going to have your hit. So then when it's filming, for that quick second, all the director or whoever's on set has to do is pull that test line, and that'll be like, you're like someone shot in the head. Yeah.
All
so
right,
so
and then you have like the fake blood underneath it, or
right, yeah, or it would just be like just a quick. I'm just saying, for a quick shot to show uh that you
that
that
something
person
like hit
got hit in
there.
the head. So
Okay.
that's just a real quick, easy one one low budget
Cool.
way to do it.
Yeah, I was thinking about the bladder effect with like the turkey baster sort of thing, but I was worried
Hmm.
that it would empty on the first squeeze, and then you wouldn't get any further spurts when I was looking for like a heart pumping effect
Okay.
of several in a row.
Well,
Is that a problem, or am I just
no,
inventing a
I
problem that
mean,
doesn't exist?
no, it's a matter of trial and error, basically. I mean, like I was mentioning, the turkey gravy, we really had a little trouble because it was thick. So your stage blood could come out being kind of thick.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of water that down, or um, to make it flow. So
Yeah.
it is a lot of trial and error.
All right. That makes sense. Uh, cool. Um, so if people want to see any of your work, I know you're not a fan of like big tech companies, so I'm guessing you don't have a lot of social media that you want to direct people to or anything like that. Am I correct in that assumption?
Yeah, and I actually I got a little out of though I do enjoy horror. I did get out of the horror so much many years ago. I had a situation that happened on my way home from work. I witnessed somebody doing themselves in, basically, and
Oh, wow.
it was very gruesome. And I thought I was actually on a movie set. I was like, "What?" I mean, the guy blew his head off with a shotgun
Oh my
um,
goodness.
in his van, and I'm like looking around, like, "Where's the camera?" Uh, so I kind of have a little PTSD from witnessing
Jeez.
that.
Yeah, I can
Um,
imagine. That's horrible. I'm sorry you had to see that.
no, that's so it's okay, man. But it got me more just in on the science fiction side of things. Uh,
Okay.
since then.
All
So
right.
that's why I'm a little more into the Star Wars and into the aliens type thing. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
um, yeah, sorry to share that with you, but
Oh
it
no, I
it
mean,
is what it is.
yeah, no need to
So,
apologize. That it helps to keep in mind that all of the people making the things, the fictional things that we watch, have real life experiences that affect their desires to make different kinds of things. That's pretty important.
well,
Um,
and I looked through a lot of Savini's books. He had a lot of books in his shop. We'd have like reference material to look through old medical books. Uh, and he had just like a ton of these books. If you wanted to see, you got to see what the real thing looks like to make a realistic effect. And
yeah, yeah, I
so
know that.
he had stuff like with like victims of plane crashes and car accidents, and just so you could really see what it looked like. So uh,
Yeah, Tom Savini was a combat photographer during Vietnam, and so he saw
mhm,
an enormous amount of that stuff right up close,
yeah,
and really knew what things did or did not look like. Which, uh, thankfully, I'm guessing it didn't seem like it traumatized him a whole lot, given that he then dedicated his career to recreating that sort of visual.
hmm,
Um, so that's good, I guess.
yeah.
uh,
Well, it kind of resensitized me to it as far as when I witnessed the real deal.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
Plus, I mean, like if you're in a war zone, you kind of, I imagine at least, you kind of expect that you might see something like that. But if you're just walking home in, your hometown, then you're probably not expecting anything like that.
right,
And that
yeah,
that surprise probably makes a really big difference, I would imagine.
it does absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Well, on a lighter note, if I may,
yeah,
um,
good.
yeah, if anyone would like to learn, take any of these classes, I intend to attend whatever future ones you put on. Most likely again at the Nerd Emporium here in Pueblo, Colorado. Uh, Thanks again for teaching that, and thanks again for coming on here and talking about your experiences, both good and bad.
Oh, thank you for having me. Yeah, and then say sorry for bringing that up.
Oh,
um,
no need to apologize, man. I mean, I think sometimes people could forget about the reality behind some of the imagery that people appreciate, and it's good to be reminded every now and then.
I mean, I do enjoy. Like I said, I do enjoy a good zombie movie and horror movies, and still enjoy those very much. Um, Even going to a back in my early days, I going to a Guar show. The
Oh
old heavy
yeah,
metal band Guar. They were famous for their gruesome. uh,
still are.
actor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Of
yeah.
course, the lineups changed a bit, but they're still around. Thank you again, and I'll see you at your next class.
Awesome. Great. Look forward to seeing you.